In this video demonstration, we're going to show you the new version of the Elite Traveler, so stay tuned. This is the Elite Traveler 2. This is also known as the SC442E. This is the 4-wheel version. They are going to make a 3-wheel version. This is just about to be released here soon, but this unit, what they're doing is they're probably going to phase away from the original GoGo Elite Traveler when they came out with this unit, because what they did is they made the wheels be able to turn really sharp. Think kind of like a combination of an Elite Traveler and a ZT8. Now, you're not going to have the dual motor, so you're not going to have the power, you're not going to have the speed, but you're going to be a lower price point scooter. It's going to be a little bit more expensive than the original GoGo Elite Traveler, but what it's going to do is it's going to increase the turning radius on the scooter. So the wheels are going to turn at a very sharp angle. You're actually going to slow down a little bit when you're turning and those wheels really sharp, which is going to help increase your traction. Now, what makes this unit nice is really going to be the price point, but there are going to be some other couple cool features. You are going to be able to have 2 different battery packs on this unit, either a 12 amp or an 18 amp battery pack. Now, that range is going to depend on the weight of the user. So it is a 300-pound weight capacity scooter. The minimum range you're going to get with the 12 amp battery packs is going to be about 6 miles on a charge. They say if you go with the bigger battery pack, you might get a little over 10. But if you're not at that high weight capacity, Pride does do the specs very well, and they try to break it down on maybe somebody 200 pounds as compared to 300 pounds. So if you're in that more 150 to 200 pound range, you could get up to 13 miles on a full charge if you go with the upgraded 18 amp battery pack. Now, on this particular unit here too, there are going to be 8 different color options. It is just releasing, so I couldn't tell you exactly which colors there are going to be, but if you do click and come to our website, we will have all the colors available. This unit here looks like it came with what I would call a matte black, which is very sharp. It's very sleek. It doesn't necessarily stand out, so if you want something that pops, obviously you're probably going to go with one of these yellow or orange type colors. But if you want something that kind of blends in, this GoGo Elite Traveler here in this matte black is a very, very sharp looking unit. Now, the unit does come with a very comfortable bottom seat. This to me almost kind of looks like what they would have more on like their Evo type scooters. I don't know, I wouldn't say memory foam, but I would say that is going to be a very comfortable seat. The bottom of that seat is going to be about 17.5 inches wide, and then in total depth you're going to be about 16 inches as well. Now, they do have this mesh type of back on here as well that does kind of flex. It's going to keep the weight down, but it's also going to make this a lot more breathable material. So when you're out, especially if you're here like in Florida where we are, it does get kind of hot. This will keep you more cool with this aerodynamic mesh breathable type back. Now, the armrests on this unit do flip up on both sides for easy access like on all scooters. The armrests are not height adjustable. Now, they are, the pitch of the angle is adjustable, so if you want your arms, depending on how you want that angle, there is a screw right here that you can either unscrew or screw in to determine the pitch of the arm. In the back of the scooter, there is a couple knobs back there you can loosen, and then you can adjust the width of the scooter. But how it comes standard from the factory, widest point on the scooter is going to be outside of armrest to outside of other armrests, which is going to be 24 inches. In between the armrests, you're going to get about 19.5 inches of usable space without having to expand the armrest. So remember, 24 inches on the outside standard with a little over 19 in between the armrests. So if you want to know what you need to fit in there without being any wider of a unit, that's what you're looking at. Now, the actual wheelbase on this unit is going to be 19.5 inches. So sometimes people need to take this on a cruise. This is going to be approved for all types of transportation due to having the sealed lead acid batteries. Now, if you don't have a handicap room, on most cruises it's 22 inches. So if you did take these armrests off, which you are able to do, you would be able to drive that through a 22-inch door opening. Once again, total width is about 19.5. We do get some individuals that have really small homes up in the Northeast that have been around for a long, long time, and they have really narrow frames. So you are able to clear 20-inch door frame if you take your armrests off. 24 with the armrests on. Now, like on pretty much all Pride scooters, they do have a swivel handle. Now, this handle, if you let it go, it's going to lock every 45 degrees. Now, what you can use that for is sometimes people have a hard time getting in and out of the scooter. Sometimes they have a hard time lifting their leg and getting it over onto the foot plate. So you would be able to swivel this scooter You can sit in it from the side without having any obstruction here up front. And then while you're sitting in it, if you hold this, you can grab onto the handlebars and you can rotate yourself to an upright forward-facing position. Other times people want to use that, whether they're in an assisted living facility, they're at a theme park, and they want to pull up next to a table and they don't want to have to transfer to another seat. You can rotate this way, or you can actually rotate all the way around to the back side as long as your tiller's forward enough to be able to back up to a table and still sit at that, at that location. I did mention earlier that the tiller is adjustable. So what that means is on the side over here, we'll show you in a video overlay, and we'll also show you how the scooter breaks apart. You can adjust that and you can bring that tiller. So if you need lots of room here getting in and out of it, or when you're driving it, if you want it all the way down here closer to you, there's plenty of adjustability right here. It has interlocking teeth. All you're going to do is twist that knob, make sure the teeth are interlocking still, and then you're able to go ahead and drive the particular unit. On here, it is just going to have one of their regular LED displays. It's going to have about 10 lights on here, so you're going to have to gauge that based on which battery pack and what weight range you're at. So if you went with the higher battery pack and you were closer to the weight capacity, just know 10 lights, 10 miles, you're going to be about a mile per light. Now, we do see sometimes on some scooters, you might lose some of your lights a little bit faster than, let's say, the 1 mile per light if you're with the 18 amp batteries. But on average, don't freak out. Let's say you lose a light and you're like, hey, I only went half a mile. You might then take 1.5 miles to lose the next light. So it is going to be an average. It's not going to be exact. So don't call us and freak out and be like, oh man, I only went a little bit and I lost 1 light. Sometimes that is normal with how the reading of the controller is on these particular units. Now you do have this nice wraparound Delta tiller as well. You are able to drive with either your thumbs, or excuse me, with either your index fingers, or if you want to hold it up here, you can drive it with your thumbs. It's like a teeter-totter type system, which is standard on almost all scooters. On here, you do have 2 little accessory ports that you can pull out here. It's a threaded hole, so if you want to put a cell phone holder in here, if you want to put a rear view mirror in here, this is where they would mount. Now, I have not seen on this particular scooter any USB type built in from looking at it. But you are able to, with your charging port over on the side, you are able to buy the USB adapter. You can plug it in here and charge your cell phone while you're using the scooter. Some other specs that people really like to know is what's the tire size going to be. So they say these front tires are 2 inches by 7 inches. I like to, while doing a video, measure it. That is pretty accurate at 2 inches. And I'm going to go with more of about 6.5 inches on that front tire. Now on the rear tire, I want to see what they say on this too, because on their specs sometimes don't always align up to what I get with my tape measure. I'm going to go of a true spec on a tire, 7.5 inches. The width is going to be a little wider. They say 2.5 inches. That is accurate. So now it's not a true 8-inch tire, just like it's not a true 7-inch tire. I'm not sure if they round up or if that's just an industry standard of how they do that. But the real spec in the front is going to be about a little over 6 inches in length by about 2 inches in width, about 2.5 in the back by a little over 7 inches in height. People like to know on these units as well. Now the seat is adjustable, a couple different adjustments, but the standard seat to floorboard height is going to be 17 inches. Standard seat to ground height is going to be about 22 inches. What makes that useful information is some people have to slide transfer in and out, whether to a bed, to a bathroom, whatever they're doing. So they do want to know what that seat to ground height is and also seat to floorboard height. Usable space, what I like to measure on a scooter, is not always just what is this measurement here, because most people want to know if I took that tape measure and I dropped it straight down where your legs would be, you're going to be at a different point. Usable space on this scooter, unless you tuck your feet backwards, is about a 10.5 inch floorboard space. Now width is going to be about 15 inches in width, and what I mean by that, by usable space, and I'll probably show you this in a video overlay as well, most people are going to sit like this, which you see, that's with my legs straight down. Most people are not going to want to bend their legs backwards to really get that. So I look at usable space, I drop my tape measure right from the front of the seat straight down and measure how much more deck space do I have on that unit. Now up here, you are able to kick your feet up here. It is sturdy. I mean, I wouldn't stand on this because it is still a hard plastic mold, but you are able to kick your feet up here if you need to get that extra leg room. But once again, what makes this scooter unique, which what you'll see outside, is going to be the turning radius on this scooter. On a 4-wheel scooter, they're going to have a 3-wheel option as well, which we'll do a video on. But on a 4-wheel scooter, you're going to have a turning radius of 37 inches. So you're going to have the stability of a 4-wheel scooter, but the turning radius of what a lot of 3-wheel scooters are going to turn in this same length. So that's what I'm saying when you think about ZT8. This scooter is going to be a cheaper price point, and will have less components, so it'll be cheaper to fix and probably have less issues. You got to think ZT8s, ZT10s have 2 controllers, 2 motors, just more stuff that could potentially go wrong. So if you're looking for an economical scooter and price point that does have some optional upgrades, this would be a very good unit to look at. Now, it is a unit that does come apart. I'm going to show you that here as well. The heaviest piece on the 4-wheel scooter is going to be 35 pounds. So if you can lift 35 pounds, you can do this. Now, they also mentioned on here too, which I thought was a pretty unique thing, they have weight without the batteries. So if you were to take the battery pack off and you leave everything else together, sometimes people say, I don't want to take it all the way apart. What does it weigh? I'm with my wife or with my son. It's 83 pounds without the battery pack, and you've got to lift this scooter up and slide it into the back of your vehicle. But most people are going to take the unit apart. Now, they also measure on here too 39.37 inches in length, and they give you a little bit longer length as well. I believe the little bit longer length is probably with the basket. They're going to measure from the back of the tip wheels to the front, and you're just under 40 inches in overall length. Now, this unit is going to go a little over 4 miles an hour, so it's going to be about 4.25 miles an hour. Ideal conditions, not the heaviest user, flat surface. You got to remember, just like in a car, when they're going to give you certain measurements, it's going to be in ideal conditions. Now, Pride, I can tell you, tries to be as accurate as they can and as realistic as they can. I've heard other manufacturers say, well, that distance is going to be with nobody on it, with no resistance on the wheels, at the slowest speed setting. So if you think about that, that's not realistic. People want to know, really, what am I going to get? So that's why I'm a big proponent of not just telling you what you are wheelbase with, but I want to know what you are armrest with. I want to know what you actually need to clear a door frame. I don't care what the wheelbase is, because that's only going to be useful if you take your armrests off. But if you actually want to use your armrest as is, that's why I like to tell you 24 inches. Somebody in the manual is going to see 22 inches and think the whole thing is 22 inches. It's 24 inches at the armrests. Now, what I'm going to do now, I'm going to demonstrate how this scooter comes apart. The first thing that you would do on this particular scooter is you're going to take your seat. Your seat is not an adjustable spring-loaded handle. There's not really an adjustability on the back. But what you can do is take the back of the seat, push it down forward. Once your seat is all the way down forward, I typically like to grab underneath the seat on both sides, and you lift straight up in the air. I don't know exact weight on this, but if I had to guess, this is maybe 15 to 20 pounds. It's a pretty light seat. You can set that off to the ground. You have your seat post here. Next thing you're going to do is you're going to take your battery pack off. Your battery pack, when they come from the factory, there is Velcro underneath here, so sometimes there is a little bit of tension when pulling this off. This is a lighter battery pack. I'm going to go 15 pounds, somewhere in that range. The heavier battery pack is probably closer to 30 pounds. This unit here, you are able to charge it directly through the battery pack. So if you want to leave all your components in your vehicle and you want to charge your scooter without having to put it all together, if it's all together, you have a really nice charging port right here, so you don't have to bend over. A lot of people say, I don't need that at my house. I need it going to Disney. I need it going to Publix. I need it going while I'm shopping. So they'll leave all the components in. They'll bring this inside, plug your charging port right in here, and it'll charge it exactly the same way as if your unit was assembled and you were charging it right up here through the tiller. Take that battery pack, set that off to the side. Now, a 12 amp battery pack and an 18 amp battery pack are going to be different dimensions. So do remember, this is the size of the 12 amp battery pack. You're not able to take a 12 amp battery pack and then down the road say, hey, I want to buy 18 amp batteries and stick them in there. That will not work. So you will have to buy a separate battery pack if you're wanting to go with the bigger batteries. We do get that question asked, and they are not the same size. 12 amps are a little bit smaller and in height and a little bit wider. 18 amps are skinnier but taller, so they're not the same dimensions. Now, the next thing you're going to do, typically we're going to have stuff in here in the front basket, whether it's your owner's manual, your charger. So you take your basket, lift your front basket off. This comes off very easily. Now, what you still have is this component. You still have your wheels turning left and right. So there is a lock on the tiller, which you are able to, this component right here if your wheels are straight. If it's sideways, it will not lock. So your wheels need to be straight. You're going to push that in, and you're going to rotate that clockwise, and then that's going to lock your wheels. Now, do remember when you go to put this together, you unlock that, because otherwise you're going to wonder why it takes you a mile to turn into a circle. From here, next thing you're going to do is you're going to want to hold onto the handlebars, and you're going to go ahead and unlock those interlocking teeth. Now, what we recommend here, and I've seen people do this before, they let it go. They drop it and they're smashing it here. Down there you have your battery connectors, and you don't want to just smash that over time. So we do recommend that you hold this, and while you're in about this position, then you go ahead and you retighten this here so that you're clearing that. But you can see how your handlebars are only going to move so far because you have it in the locked position up front. Now here in the back, the last thing you're going to do is you're going to have this latch. This latch is standard on most of Pride's units and how they come apart. It might look a hair different, but it's always going to typically be located in the same position here. What I do, I'm going to grab with my left hand this back latch. I'm going to grab the handlebars. I'm going to lift up, and then I'm going to walk it forward. So these are going to be your components that you're going to need to load inside your vehicle. Do remember, this is going to be your heaviest piece right here. This is 35 pounds. Now, they do have a 3-wheel version. It is going to be about 5 pounds less, but most people are probably going to want the 4-wheel for the stability. Put it back together. It is pretty straightforward. You do have 2 U-shaped brackets here in the back that are going to go onto the post. They do line them up with a little green tape, a little green indicator. You do not want to force this scooter back together. So you want to make sure you're bringing these and these components are lining up straight. You can even lift from the seat post. Put your rear U-clamps on that bar in the back, and it should do all the work itself. The weight and gravity should snap those pieces together. If you're feeling like you're having to step on that, there's a good chance that most likely right here in your connector block, something is not right, and you do not want to force that back together. It should be as simple as putting on that bar, letting gravity do its thing, and it will snap back together. Now from here, you're basically going to just do the opposite of what you did before. You're going to grab the handlebars as well, loosen the interlocking teeth, go ahead and tighten this back up. I would go ahead at this point, push that piece in, turn it counterclockwise, and loosen your wheels. Drop your front basket back onto the unit. Take your battery pack. It can only go on one way. It just drops right into place. And now take your seat. With your seat, make sure you're lining it up. You do not have to grab the swivel handle. It will automatically interlock into one of those teeth on that seat post, and then you're ready to go. One thing I did not mention on this scooter, in the back of the unit, like on all Pride scooters, you have a rear docking device. So right here, you can put in a walker holder, cane holder, oxygen tank holder, rear basket, pretty much all the accessories that they come out with. Even if you find like an aftermarket canopy or things like that, that will slide right here as well, right into the back of the unit. Back here, you have a neutral lever. So if you ever need to put this scooter in freewheel, you can go ahead and push this forward. If your unit's on, it's going to beep at you. It's going to beep probably 9 times, or I mean 5 times. I forgot what the scooter code is, but this is going to be telling you right now that this unit is in neutral. Do remember, you always need to be in the locked position to be able to drive the scooter. If you do make that switch from neutral into gear, you do always have to turn the power off and turn it back on to reset the unit, and then you'll be able to drive. You do have variable speeds up here as well. So now what I'm going to ask you guys to do is follow me outside. I want to kind of show you what this turning radius is and what I look like being 6 foot tall, 220 pounds sitting on this scooter. Before we head outside, I just kind of wanted to show you here too, in this really small space, this unit can turn. That's what I'm talking about, 3-wheel turning radius on a 4-wheel scooter. So now we'll go outside and kind of show you a little bit more, but I wanted to kind of just show you where I was filming. I could make that turn in that 37-inch turning radius. So this is the GoGo Elite Traveler 2. This is a 4-wheel scooter that you see how it slows down when you get your wheels to turn completely sideways in that 37-inch turning radius. So it's going to help increase the traction. This is going to have a 180-watt motor, so it's going to top out at about 4.25 miles per hour. Now you can get up to 13-mile range if you're not a heavy set person, and you upgrade the batteries to the 18-amp batteries. If you are heavy set and you go with the standard batteries, about 6 miles is going to be your full range. It is going to have solid tires all the way around. This will have a swivel seat. It's going to be a very nice scooter that's going to be economical for people that's still going to fit in really small spaces. Now we test a lot of scooters over here in kind of this little ditch area that we have with grass. Now I can say your ground clearance is not overly high on this unit, so you're going to hear your anti-tip wheels that are going to be kind of rotating. That's going to be kind of that, not grinding sound, but rolling sound that you're going to hear. But it is going to have power. Right here, I have about at least a good 2-inch lip here. So let's just see if this can do this. So right there, I did not have enough power to go over that. Let me see if I get a little more speed, if it's going to change it at all. A little bit more power, you can climb over that. I kind of came to a stop and then tried to do it. But really, this is not going to be made to be going in that type of terrain. It's going to be more like, hey, I want to go to my kid's baseball game, soccer fields, things like that, hard, compact ground. So you're really going to utilize this scooter as a lightweight, 35-pound heaviest piece type scooter. That's a 4-wheel unit that's going to turn in a 3-wheel turning radius. So if you have any questions, we'd love to answer them for you. Give us a call.
Hi, I'm Mark.
And my name is Alex. We're co-owners of Marc's Mobility.
I started this company in 1995.
We sell many products, not just what you see in this video. If you have any questions or concerns, please call us at the number below at 800-677-6293. Thank you, and have a wonderful day.